Hello and welcome to your guide on getting a VA loan. And your guide today is Trevor. Trevor, thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So Trevor has a military background. He's going to be able to walk us through this process. But first, so we get to know Trevor a little bit. Trevor, let me ask you this question. If you could be a neighborhood, any neighborhood in Atlanta or in the world, what would be your spirit neighborhood?
Yeah, it's a very off the wall question, but yeah, if I was a spirit, like I would have something that just embodies, I guess, the world. You know, you got something, cultures from all over the world, kind of coming together. I feel like that's the American dream, and I think anywhere I want to live in the world, I want to live with that American dream of bringing it all together, nice cohesiveness, which is completely different viewpoints and kind of people getting along, getting to know each other, and building relationships through differences and common interests.
So what city would you say that would be? I'm picturing like an international city. Are you thinking like New York, London? What kind of city are you thinking?
If I had to pick an actual city, man, I think Atlanta can embody that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess any large city like Atlanta, Chicago, New York, they kind of bring that, and then if we can spread that, and then we wouldn't have to pick a city because all the cities can be that dream neighborhood.
For sure. Awesome. Well, let's get to everyone's guide on getting a VA loan. So, Trevor, first of all, who can get a VA loan?
Yeah, who can get a VA loan? So you want the easiest answer is qualified veterans, which are active duty, previous active duty, and that generally is 30 days of active duty.
Okay.
National Guard can as well, and reserves. Now there's a couple like loopholes and rules. So I would always the easiest answer to that is to have them contact a lender and see if they can obtain their certificate of authority to basically get that VA loan. A lot of lenders can actually get that themselves, but if not, they can get it from their unit in most cases, or by contacting the VA. It's probably be quicker if they go to a lender who has access to the records. Government paperwork takes a little bit slower. Sometimes they can even go online to their ERB, which is their enlisted record brief, and that goes through all their government documents. So if they have access to that, they should be able to pull that up. So I'm able to go in and get mine if I wanted at any time. If they don't use their passport every 90 days, they might have to wait 90 days to get that back going. So just try to go through the lender. But anybody that's deployed, in some cases, surviving spouses, spouses of POWs are also qualified. So if someone ever feels like they might qualify, they're going to have on record a certificate of authority allowing them to use it. And that even includes the spouses. So the lender should be able to look that up. If they don't have the ability to do that, they should be able to contact the VA or get into their personnel record.
Yeah. So, that's everyone who qualifies will have a certificate of authority. And that's really the first step. Is if you're unsure of whether you have that or not, like you said, either get it from the lender or, contact the VA or anyone. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you can help you that.
So once you've got that certificate and you're like, yes, I've got it, I can get a VA loan. What are some of the benefits of this? Why is this such a great thing for veterans to be able to access?
Yeah, it's something, it's so nice for veterans, especially for active duty, where you're moving around every 2 to 3 years. It's hard, and it's a process that, you might not have the money to put down right away, and allows them to not have to put the money down right away. And a lot of the times, it allows them to purchase it before even getting there too. And while helping the spouse, because you can have multiple houses on a VA loan if you write the contract correctly, which is a different class, and it's all in its own right. But a lot of times they're leaving their spouses behind when they're doing that process. So, good questions to ask are, do you have another house you have to sell, just like we normally would? Sure. Because it can be very troublesome on the moving, leaving your spouse behind, or sometimes you have to leave your spouse behind. And if that VA loan isn't done when they get there, they have to go into temporary housing. And temporary housing does not sound very good. If you want to see what temporary housing looks like, I can take you to any local jail cell, and that's pretty much what it looks like. But you might be up to 60 roommates.
Yeah.
So, it's really beneficial that that they can be able to do that, and they can do it without before they even move. It really helps them because they don't have to worry about getting all the money situated. They can coordinate getting their family over there with them. In regards to people that are transitioning out, or veterans, or surviving spouses, it's just a really good way for them to build equity and help them with their credit. They don't get paid that much, and it really helps them, transition and get homes that they've worked so hard, they've had moving around so much. It really helps them kind of feel part of the community and build by helping them get in quicker with less stress.
So you mentioned no money, not having the money for a down payment or money for it. This is one of the best things, right? I mean, can you literally buy a house with no money down?
Yeah, you definitely can. And it also helps them build their equity quicker, putting down. And then a lot of them, if they still get a housing stipend with active duty, so they're still able to make that payment, but they're not forced to do it. So they have to do, there's a lot of costs that are associated with relocating, especially if you can get every 2 to 3 years. And, sometimes it's hard, and it's something that allow them to build equity. And then in 2 to 3 years, they'll be selling a house, hopefully again with you. And then you'll know the VA loan process, you'll know the neighborhood. And it's something that, they're going to build a relationship with you. And it's something that you should treasure, something that they'll treasure. But it is probably the biggest benefit of doing it, because it helps out them when they're moving so much.
For sure. And so, there are a couple of things that are different about VA loans than a conventional loan. And most of those are around, the government wanting to protect the veterans. But what are a couple of things about the process of actually, you found a house, you're making an offer. What are some of the things that are different in that process with a VA loan than if someone was getting a conventional loan?
Yeah, I would definitely encourage being in touch with your lender as much as possible. Because the timeframes are going to be different. They're going to require an assessment. A lot of condos don't apply. There's a list. There's a lender should be able to look it up to see if it's going to apply even before you go in. There's also a website that helps you out. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but I can get it to you. That helps you find out what the best condos are. Obviously, that assessment. Make sure they vet your lenders before you refer them. Make sure they have assessment people that can do assessments lined up and are willing to do it, and you can get their time frame. But yeah, and there's I kind of hit on it before. If they have to sell another house at their previous duty station, ask them those type of questions if that is the situation, because the contract's got to be written differently. Basically, it's stating that it's basically contingent on the sale of the other house, and that way they can get have 2 VA loans going at once.
So can you have 2 VA loans going once? How does that work, or does that question come with a lot of?
It's got a lot of. I would There's a lot of things that can happen. I would definitely the lender will be able to help you out in that situation. If you get one that if they're like, wait, what is that? It's probably not a lender you should be going to in the first place. But essentially, it's just a contingency to sell the other house. And in those, like I said before, the spouses have to stay behind at those locations. In most cases, there's exceptions. There's always exceptions to rules in the government. So there's a lot of ways that can go. If you run into that, contact me, and I can definitely assist anyone with that. And another thing to mention is if you should ask are you moving again in 2 to 3 years? Is this your last one? If they're moving towards say Dobbins and it's their last duty station, make sure they're changing or they're retiring and they're moving back to Dobbins. Make sure they change their home of record to Georgia on their record brief. Otherwise, they actually lose a little bit of money on the move. So these are good things to know. So if you run in a situation, there's a whole bunch of little things that really help out, because you only get they only pay you to move to your home of record. So they're going to have less money in their pocket when they're moving if their home of record's Virginia, but they're deciding to move to Atlanta. The military might not foot the bill for them to move to Atlanta, and they have to pay to send all their stuff down. These are all stuff to consider. So yeah, just kind of see where they are in their process. Are they leaving, transitioning? And then from there, there's a whole myriad of questions, and I can definitely go into more and more depth on that. It could go on forever. So
yeah, so I mean, it sounds like this is something where anytime you are making a move or potentially making a move, I mean, you should get counsel on, hey, what are my options? How could I set things up to be most beneficial? Am I hearing you correctly on that?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes they know they're moving, they know where they're moving to, they don't know when they're moving.
Yeah.
You can have orders without an order date, and all they have to do is give you a 30-day notice. And
so once you get those orders, start having the conversations.
Exactly. As soon because you'll get the orders before the order date. So start having the conversation right away. And then if so, you can get on what I did when I got my orders. I didn't have my order date for months. I stayed on them, and then I got my order date so I could start arranging everything. If you stay on them persistently, they have it before they give it to you. So because it shows up generally on the first of the month after so if they get it on March 5th, it's going to show, you're going to be able to see it on April 1st. Yeah. So if you're contacting them in March, you might know. So there's ways to get that date before it's available to them. So again, contact me if you're in that situation, and I can give you some tips.
Sure. Man, this has been super helpful. So Trevor, if you were to say, what is the one, I don't know if secret's the right term, but one secret or one most important thing about successfully taking advantage of the VA loan, what would you say that most important piece of advice is?
Yeah, it really helps you. And people that live such a stressful life, it really helps you kind of de-stress. One less thing you have to worry about, especially if you get the right agent and lender combination, which we can definitely help out here at Justin Landis Group. So, just be straightforward to them. Let them know that, we'll take care of a lot of the stuff, all the information that they'll need. If they're active duty, they can get that in 5 minutes on their computer. If not, we can help them through the process, and don't tell them it's going to be 15 days. It's going to be 15 days. Do your research, contact your lender, contact me if you need help. Tell them how it is. They're used to it. They'll understand. They're going to like that better than getting lied to, just like anybody else. So,
sure.
But yeah, it's just work hard, and just like you would anybody else, just with a different set of rules. So, yep.
So it really is awesome that any veteran can take advantage of this and can buy a house with no money down, that they can get into their next place while they still own their previous place, when they're moving around as they're on active duty. And so love that. We're really thankful for you. Hope this was helpful for everyone watching, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks, Trevor.
Thanks, Justin.